Hi there, this is David and welcome to another crowdsourced video detailing my Discord server's top 10 best JRPG samurais. So far we've discussed monks, thieves, white mages, black mages, archers, bards, dancers, gunners, sages, summoners, red mages, blue mages, doggies, robots, lancers, ninjas, and paladins. But now it's time for the strong and silent type to step out and unsheath their swords. This series seems to be pretty popular, and if you want to take part 2, be sure to come and join the Discord. Please keep in mind that this is not necessarily my opinion, but the opinion of the best Discord server around. So join and become part of the fun as the series continues throughout the rest of the year. Number 10, submitted by Power Panda and receiving 33 votes, is Jin of the Xenosaga series. It's hard to introduce a main character in a series' second entry who is as beloved as the main cast, especially when that entry is easily the worst of the series. Not many characters could pull that off, but Jin does so in stride. Originally planned to be introduced in episode 1, he was unfortunately just cut down to 2 minor cameos. So Jin had his work cut out for him. Thankfully, episode 2 opened with a bang, throwing the players into a self-contained scenario with Chaos, Kanan, and Jin that firmly established him as part of the larger narrative. And from there, the only challenge was to not let Jin take the entire spotlight. He is Xion's calm older brother, and they do begin estranged, but his calming presence and his deep insight into the world quickly heal those cracks, allowing him to become supportive older brother not just for Xion, but for the entire team. Number 9, submitted by Black Box and receiving 35 votes, is Diaz of Star Ocean: The Second Story. Okay, so I have a type. What can I say? The hot, stoic, brooding loner. Well, what of it? I mean, he doesn't go out of his way to make people miserable or anything. He just doesn't have the time or the patience for any nonsense. But he can make time for our favorite blue-haired heroine, Reina. Diaz is an exclusive character to her story, and honestly, he's so much better than Leon on Claude's side. While his basic attack is just kind of okay, the opposite is true of his killer moves. With Air Slash, he can create a low MP cost, fast-traveling ranged attack. With Illusion, he can unleash a quick flurry of slashes with practically no downtime, and then once he starts a full moon slash, the unwitting target had better try to stop him from completing a full circle with his blade, because there is no distance that they can run to escape from it. Number 8. Submitted by Elise and Frost Mage, and receiving 36 votes, is Ryoma from Fire Emblem Fates. The Crown Prince turned Shogun of Hoshido has mastered the ways of the sword, and he wields his signature katana with equal parts fierceness as well as finesse. With his high melee stats, he is a monster on the battlefield, quite literally considering that he has dragon blood coursing through his veins. Along with his stellar stats, Ryoma wields the legendary katana Reijinto, which has the ability to attack at range as well as increase his strength. Also, he has access to Duelist's Blow, which increases his avoidance, and then the ridiculous Astra, which gives him the chance to strike an enemy 5 times in a row, not to mention Swordfare, which further increases the damage output that he wields with his swords. Thanks to all these factors, he easily just breaks the game in half, being able to dispatch almost any enemy thanks to his explosive offense as well as his high evasion. Number 7, submitted by Casual Tom and receiving 38 votes, is Genshu from Suikoden 2. This star of courage is a former assassin who has since abandoned his murderous lifestyle to hone his mind and devote himself to fully mastering the ways of the sword. Unfortunately though, he is one of the last stars of destiny to join your team, but if you got him any earlier, he'd just crush anything that came before him. Meeting him at the Coronet Docks, he's completely obsessed with swords, and he won't join unless you introduce him to somebody with a strong enough weapon. He comes equipped with the Swallow Rune, which has a 30% chance of killing his opponents with every attack. Some even say that his swordsmanship is so swift that it cannot be detected by the naked eye. Number 6, submitted by Art Caravan and receiving 40 votes, is Zero from Mega Man X Command Mission. This Red Maverick Hunter was part of the squad that was sent to Giga City to deal with the Rebellion army. However, Circumstances separated him from X and the party for some time, and he was even presumed dead. But nothing can stop this guy. Coming and going like the wind because of all the betrayals, it's only after the spider saves his life from Shadow that he learns to trust the party again. Unlike the Blue Bomber, he uses a variety of swords to slice and dice his enemies, which can break armor, hit incredibly fast, hit elemental weaknesses, steal health, create clones of himself, and even convert his defense power into attack power for some instant death. Going into hyper mode turns him black as night and really turns up the slaughter, not to mention whenever he can turn into absolute zero. Number 5, submitted by Vivi and receiving 42 votes, is Dunban from Xenoblade Chronicles. Dunban is a master of the blade, whether he's two-handed or one-handed or my favorite, shirtless. Before the events of the game, he was even able to handle the Monado for a while, and just like any great samurai, he knows how to keep his emotions in check rather than being overruled by them. I mean, he can see his friends die, have his sister be killed and find out that he was ultimately betrayed, and still keep all of his cool. Well, that is until he finds the culprit for all of these troubles, whenever he finally unleashes his bottled up emotions in a fury. Honestly though, what I like about him best is his versatility. You can use him offensively by orientating his damage output on critical strikes and bleeding attacks, or instead focus on evasion, still dealing huge amounts of damage to the enemy, only this time, topless. Number 4, submitted by Kurnik and receiving 51 votes, is Yusuke from Persona 5. This artsy-fartsy pretty boy is a traditional samurai with a modern-day twist. Tall and mysterious, he's a cultured eccentric whose flair for art often puts him in humorous contrast with his more modern allies. Notably, Yusuke's journey of self-discovery grows as he evolves from a samurai, blindly loyal to his master, to one without one, an outsider forced to go his own way. Once he casts his former master aside, he develops his own Bushido code of frugality, honor, and justice, remaining in perpetual poverty for the sake of art and beauty. He brandishes a humble katana and the game's highest strength stat in battle, focusing on elegant critical strikes compared to Ryuji's brutish ways. His persona, Goemon, was a legendary figure of Japanese mythology who followed his own sense of justice too, as a hero of the downtrodden. Number 3, submitted by Sam and receiving 52 votes, is Rokuru from Tales of Berseria. While not a totally traditional samurai, Velvet meets him early on in her quest for vengeance, and he quickly becomes a trusted ally in her crusade despite being an outcast and a demon. Although he carries a large sword on his back, that is not what he uses in battle. Instead, he's saving that blade to end the life of his brother. So he arms himself instead with 2 knives and acts as quick, heavily melee-orientated character with access to multiple lunges and dashes, and that allows him to close gaps quickly and stick to his targets. He's loyal to a fault, has strong convictions, and is a positive force, supportive and protective of all of his friends. Serving as a parental figure to Laphicet and a drinking buddy to Aizen, as well as a tremendous ally to Velvet and Eleanor, he merely wants a worthy opponent in battle, and he craves a good challenge and will not stop until he quenches his thirst. Number 2, submitted by Ace Berserker AJ, Contigo, and Jacob the Truth Speaker, and receiving 81 votes, is Cyan from Final Fantasy VI. 3 cheers for Mr. Thou! This noble warrior earns his place as the series' first true samurai through his design, equipment, and mustache. He takes a much more reasonable approach to fighting ghost trains rather than suplexing them, instead just choosing to shred them to smithereens with 4 katana strikes. His thematically powerful backstory is just the icing on the cake. Joining the party to seek revenge upon Kefka, he brings to the table his combat abilities, formal speech, and occasional comic relief while accidentally charging through an encampment in his hated Magitech armor. I mean, just give him a chance and this sexy daddy may reward you with some Bushido in the bedroom too. And who can say no to that? Number 1, submitted by Mama Nerd and Raffi, and receiving 97 votes, is Auron from Final Fantasy X. A companion of Tidus' father turned whale, and a former guardian of the High Summit Nebraska, He serves as a mentor for Tidus and the rest of the crew. I mean, he's literally a living legend. Well, not literally, I mean that kind of loosely, but again, I digress. Auron inspires every guardian that he meets, including that giant lughead Barthelo, and is a complete powerhouse from beginning to end, especially with his piercing damage helping a shit ton more than that stupid Ronso. He can use a great variety of break attacks, which work to break down actual stats, and it comes in so handy for weakening enemies and Wells bosses. While his powerful samurai swords can slice through them like a hot knife through butter, his HP, defense, and strength are also at the top of the list, and his limit breaks are superb because, after all, he does lead your story. Well, that's it for the top 10 best JRPG samurais as decided by my Discord server. We do have quite a few more honorable mentions. Jin from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Taro from Saga 2, Musashi from Shining Force, Sanger from Super Robot Wars, Gaius from the Tales of Xillia duology, Laura from Trails of Cold Steel, Jen from Saga Frontier, Onimaru from Onimusha Tactics, Albel from Star Ocean 3, Tokihisha from Exist Archive The Other Side of the Sky, Rutger from Fire Emblem 6, William of Neo, and Shinjiro from Sakura Wars. Who are your favorite samurais and why? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and what I do here on the channel, please consider heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, checking out Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The link to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.